Hey, what's up? Welcome back. Today we're finishing up potatoes and onions that have been sitting on this rack for almost a month now, but that's all right. They're fine sitting here until we're ready to deal with them. So we harvested potatoes back in early September, I believe. I'll link the video here. And they've been drying on this rack ever since. We've just been really busy, so haven't gotten around to putting them away. And they're fine sitting here, so here we go. So we're going to go through them and make sure there's no cuts or defects in them, because those we can eat right away. And I'm going to separate them smalls and bigs, because we'll eat the small ones first too, because the big ones store better as well. So yeah, you can see we didn't get much of a harvest, but that's enough to get us probably till the end of the year, I would think. It's just the two of us, so just the two of us. Here we go. So yeah, these are the difference. I would say this is a small, this one is a larger. So just making sure they don't have any defects or large cuts in them. That one's a little green, but that's all right. I can just cut that off. And we'll just go through these. Some of these are really small. You can see all those. So we'll eat those up right away. Yeah, see there's a gouge. These are Kennebec potatoes. I kind of talked a little bit about them in the harvesting video that we did. These are very good potatoes for baking, frying, mashed potatoes, French fries, hash browns, really anything you would use a russet for. I would highly recommend using these instead. It's a big one. They have a better flavor, they fry up better, and they make fantastic hash browns. They're just a bit smaller than russets, if you grow them correctly. These didn't turn out as good as they could have. Also, we had a mouse eating some of them, so that's fun. Yeah, you can see something was chewing on that one. Not sure why I kept that one. All right, that was easy. So we got a decent amount. I'm excited to eat them. I think that's all I want to say about potatoes. Now let's work on some onions. Onions. We got a much better harvest of onions. We got about 160 onions. We had eaten some and then I counted, and it was about 140, but I had already used a bunch in recipes, so we're going to go with 160. So yeah, we've got them, I've had them drying here for probably 2 months now, really. It's been a month and a half, I would say, which isn't a bad thing because they can just stay here and keep drying. This is the room that we keep the onions in, so they'd be fine just to stay here, but really want to get this cleaned up. How you know it's ready to harvest is the stalks will tip over and the neck here will get bent, as they say. So that's how it'll look, except for this will all be green. So you pick them. We have this drying rack that I just lay them out here, and usually 2 weeks, and they're brown, and then they're ready to be cut off. And all we do is just cut them off maybe an inch above the bulb. If you see any green in here at all, or if it's wet, then leave them out for longer. Let them dry for another week or so. But yeah, cut them off an inch above the neck, cut the hairs off, and then we throw them in the basket. We've got both white and yellow onions here. Last year we grew yellow and red onions, and we got way too many red onions. So yeah, we're just going to continue cutting these off. Yeah, we got some big ones. We're going to eat a lot of onions this year. I made a bunch of soups back in August when our cabbage was ready. And I made a few different kinds. I think I made like 24 quarts altogether of soup. And we froze them all. Yeah, see, you can still see. There's a little bit of juice in here you can see yet. So I'm just going to put this in here, and the onions that are in this container we're going to use up first anyway. So well, Roberta just threw this one on the floor, so this will go in the container to use first. I've got a few that are still green because I just picked those. Those were in a different part of the garden. So those we'll just use up first too. We got a lot of onions to use up first. Once we're done, this bucket will actually go back on the garden beds to cover up the soil.
And use for fall decor.
Oh yeah. Never mind. So once we're done with this, we're going to use this for fall decor, apparently. So this one is rotted, and you can tell because it's mushy. You can see these dents in here that I'm making. So you can see where this one's very healthy. It's got a nice shiny skin on it, very hard. But this one is very dull, and yeah, it's just squishy. So that will go in the compost. So we got about the same amount of onions this year as we did last year, but these are a lot bigger. Most of the ones we got last year were this size or smaller. Both the red and yellow onions. But these, that's going in the small container this year. That's awesome. So last year our harvest lasted us up until I think the end of spring. So hopefully this next year these will last us until the next harvest. Would be nice. And if I see that they're starting to not be so good anymore, I'll just dice them all up and freeze them so that we can continue to use them and they won't go to waste. Try to leave most of the skins on, but some of these are dry and they peel off easily. So last two. So this is our harvest. This is a good amount. I'm quite pleased with what we got this year. We actually have garlic to do too. So let's put this away and we'll get that going. So our garlic this year was super wonky. We planted about 130 bulbs, I think, and this is all we got. 24 bulbs out of 130 that we planted. Most of them rotted in the ground. I think it was a combination of, it was really wet back in October, November of last year, and I used leaves as mulch instead of straw like I did the previous year. And I think between it raining so much and then the leaves just kept all that moisture in more than the straw would have, and they just rotted in the ground. And so these were the only ones that came up this year. My neighbor was kind enough to give us some that I had taught him how to how to plant garlic, so he did that last year for the first time, and he got a great crop, and so he was kind enough to give us a few, so that was really nice. And then I bought some as well to plant, and we got to get that planted here this weekend, maybe next week, very soon. And I'll use straw this time again. So yeah, here we go. This is basically the same as onions. So you harvest it when the first 3 leaves turn brown. And you just lay them out just like onions. And then with these, I leave about that much. So it's 1.5 inches, almost 2 inches of stem. And you just cut it off, and then I'll cut off the roots. I'm going to go through each one of these to make sure that they all feel solid. Also, we planted like 12 different kinds last year, and because it was so sporadic of where they were popping up, that it was just too hard to tell what kind they were. So we just clumped them all together, and we'll see what.
It'll be a mystery flavor.
It'll be a mystery flavor. That's right. Luckily, we still have a lot of garlic from last year yet. At the beginning of this season, I took the remaining bulbs that we had from last year and preserved them, basically. So I minced up a bunch, put a bunch in little jars with oil, froze those, and then I tried, so the idea was to put them in little ice cube trays and then freeze it so that I would have little clumps of garlic that I could just keep separate, and it would be like a 1 serving type thing. That didn't work at all. I tried to get them out of the ice cube trays, and they just fell apart. So I had just a bunch of frozen minced garlic. So I just put that in a bag and used that up first. And now we're on to the jars. So yeah, none of it's going to waste, and luckily we have that because this harvest was so poor. So I'm very thankful. Last year, with having 12 different kinds, we had these all in dividers and labeled so that we knew which ones they were. I had no idea before starting to grow garlic that there were so many different kinds. I thought garlic was garlic, but yeah, there's hundreds of different kinds of garlic. And I guess I should have known that, just like every other vegetable. That is the end of our garlic harvest. You can see we've got a bunch more herbs on here yet that we need to deal with. And those green onions over there I'll use up this next week probably. We got some butternut squash down there. This last weekend we went to Door County to enjoy the fall colors. And the only footage I got was of the lake for some reason. That was the only time I took my camera out and, and took some video. But it was beautiful. So were the trees. But we did get apples. And we're going to make some juice. We're going to make a bunch of juice. A fair amount of juice. Should be a good time. Adios.